Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in. As you can see from the title of this video, this is about AC/DC, You Shook Me All Night Long. And when I say finally figured out the right way, I've known how to play this song for a few decades. It's one of the very first AC/DC songs I ever learned the solo to. But just for years when I played it, the verse section is what I'm talking about here, not the little intro. But for years it just didn't sound right. So I'm going to show you what I used to play, or the way I learned it. And people on YouTube, I mean, there's tons of ways to play it, but I finally saw a clip of Angus playing it live, and that's really, I feel like, the best way to, to see how an artist plays a song if you can catch it live. But originally, I have this old AC/DC tab book here that I got a long time ago. Way long time ago, and actually the very first song in it is You Shook Me All Night Long. So this is how I learned it. So I'll just show you. So the tabs, you can see, I'll just hold it up here. Basically it says to do the G, I'm talking about the G, the C chord, right? So the tab book, now again, I don't know what Malcolm is doing in this song, so he could be playing it that way, but this is the way I saw Angus play it. And so the way that I always learned it was that part is what I'm talking about. So the way that I learned it, and in the tab book, it says and again, forgive me, all I have is this shirt mic here. My amp is right over there. I don't have like another microphone to put it in. I'm not like high tech or anything, but I just felt like making a video. So again, the way that I was always taught from this book was to go G and then to this C add 9 chord, and then back to G, back to the C add 9, back to G, and then D, and then the. So I just never thought this part sounded right. I mean, that's what the book says, and when you play along with the song, I mean, it doesn't sound bad, it just doesn't sound right, if that makes sense. Because again, it's like in the right key and everything, but it just doesn't sound right. So then I've seen some videos of people playing the G chord like this way, and then doing a C. Like that's just, I like switching back from a C to a G to a C to a G. Like that's just, like I can't even do that. That's too, the fingers, I've seen people do it, I can't do it. But I remember seeing an interview with Angus a long time ago where someone was trying to figure out how he played a certain song, and they were doing it like all complicated up here. And he just said, no man, he said, that's way too hard for me. Like the easiest way, he said 9 out of 10 times, the easiest way to play it is probably the way I'm playing it on the album. And so that kind of stuck with me. Like he's not getting all crazy, fancy, moving up here and everything. But, and so I just figured, I'm like, man, that would be really hard for him. Maybe not hard for him, but it just seems like a lot more work to switch from a C to a G, like seamlessly. And I looked up on YouTube and I could never find that part, and maybe I missed it, but I could never find that part of the song where they would show Angus close enough where I could see what he was doing. It was always either him from behind, or from the side, or Brian Johnson was in the way. Like I could never get a clear shot. So then I was like, well, maybe it would just be, instead of moving back and forth like this, maybe he's just playing open strings, like that. And I'm like, nah, still, it's this part. It's the C add 9 part that just didn't feel right to me. So last week, I was just watching YouTube or something, and a video came up of You Shook Me All Night Long, the Back in Black tour in 1981. So I watched it, and you can Google it. I'm not going to play it in here because of copyright. But if you just Google "You Shook Me All Night Long" 81, you'll see it in there. And there's a clear shot for about 3 or 4 seconds where you can see exactly what he's doing. And basically what he's doing is he's playing a C chord, and he's doing all the open G chord, you know, this, and then back to C. He's going. So finally, so he's going. And you can clearly see in that video that he's just taking his whole hand off and then putting it back down. You know, he's keeping the shape. He's going down, off, then back on, off, and back on. So, and of course, with more than, you know, AC/DC, you got to watch the distortion. So I had this humbucker in here is a 78 model humbucker from Seymour Duncan. So it tends to get a little on the hotter side. I might replace it with something a little less hot. But I had that on, I want to say around like 4. That still might even be too much. But if you put the distortion all the way up, it's not going to sound good because of it's not terrible, but just too much. So I have this one on like maybe 4 or 5. Which totally makes sense, him doing it that way, because that's super easy. I shouldn't say easy, simple. You know, switching back from a G, like it's just that's too much work. Again, I'm not saying people can't do it. I can't do it very well, but I've seen people on YouTube. I watched people teach the song, and they're switching back and forth. I'm like, how the hell can they do that? And again, even the tab book is wrong. And I've seen people even teach it. I think it's like that, just using bar chords, which again is not wrong. That's just not the way he plays it. A lot of tune, sorry. Again, too much movement. Whereas this way, and then he's just hitting that open. It just makes perfect sense why he would do that. So that's all I wanted to share. Hopefully, if you were like me and you really never knew, again, playing it this way, if you play with the record, if you play it that way, it doesn't sound, you know, bad. It just doesn't sound right. You can get away with it. And then I used to actually do this. I would just do open. I would go like that. But the way now, I don't know if that's the way he did it on the album, if that's the way he does it now. But all I know is I finally saw him do it, and he's definitely doing an open C chord, a regular C major chord, lifting his whole hand off the fretboard. You can clearly see, because I think the view is like this way, and you can see him go like this, or maybe I can't remember, it's this way, but watch the video. Yeah, I think it's this way, and you can see him lift his whole hand off the fretboard. So hopefully that was helpful. Again, finally I had one of those aha moments, and it just, when you play along with the song using that open C chord, it sounds way better. Like it just fits perfectly. So hope that helps somebody. Let me know if you had the same experience playing it that way. Take care.